Good afternoon. My name's Lloyd. Thank you for coming. I'm going to talk to you this afternoon about reliability in paper packaging supply. I'm going to concentrate on information components for the pharmaceutical sector. I found this on a TripAdvisor website. It refers to it's a review for a burger restaurant. And what struck me was that these guys, as you can see from the first 5 words of the review, have a fantastic product. The customer really likes it, but they couldn't get hold of it. They weren't aware of all the products that the burger restaurant had available. And so there was a missed sales opportunity. For the pharmaceutical industry, missing a sale is more than just a commercial issue. Obviously, it is a critical commercial issue because a missed sale risks substitution with a competitor's product, and you may never recover that sale. But it's also a critical issue in the success of the treatment of your patients. The World Health Organization says that non-adherence to medical regimens is a major problem in clinical outcomes. And so drug availability is absolutely critical. In manufacturing and in business these days, people talk about not just capability, but in the competition between supply chains. Businesses are more than just their own entities. They are competing against the supply chains of their competitors. It's war. And so in the next 30 minutes, I want to talk to you about assuring your paper packaging supply, particularly of information products, and the importance of having the right product reliably available. Just some background. I'm the Regional Development Director for Chesapeake in Central and Eastern Europe. Chesapeake is a global producer of specialty packaging and is a European leader in the supply of paperboard and paper packaging products for the pharmaceutical sector. We are a privately owned business backed by Carlyle Group, very, very financially stable, and we have 37 operations in Asia, Europe, and the US. We have a global manufacturing footprint, and we have one of the broadest product ranges in paper packaging in the pharmaceutical and healthcare sector. Let's just look at sources of complexity. For pharmaceutical companies, like many sectors, emerging markets are a source of complexity. There are 2 drivers here, access to medicines, an ethical issue, and the search for ever-increasing growth. This poses significant challenges and causes disruption to the supply of paper packaging components through ethnic and language diversity, through affordability. Dose forms need to be modified for different markets, and there needs to be multi-market products available. Demand is incredibly volatile. There's also increasing pressure from regulators. As you can see here from some headlines that I picked up from my favorite Pharma News website. And the impact of this increasing pressure on regulation is more and more information to be delivered to patients and users. The pharmacovigilance concerns have led to the introduction of the Black Triangle regulations recently, and we need to make sure that the information that's provided to patients and users is readily accessible. So there are readability standards, and there's a requirement for usability, user testing. In a review of the impact of these changes a few years ago, the head of labeling for Pfizer in Germany studied the changes in patient information leaflets between the year 2000 and 2009, and found a huge increase in the text space required. As you can see in the middle point there, by 2009, leaflets had increased by over 150% compared to their original size back in the year 2000. Now, those changes were incremental. There wasn't a sudden change. So in the background, there was a huge amount of effort in managing artwork, in managing complexity, and in ensuring that the right products were being delivered to the customer. The changes in those leaflet sizes also led to an increase in size in cartons and other packaging materials that were required. Also, changes were required into the inserting technology that was being used to place leaflets into the secondary pack. More pallet space was required, more transport space. So the effects of these changes in information requirements are felt right the way throughout the supply chain. And all of those changes create risk in the supply chain. Now, there are special solutions available, as Pfizer found, and I'd like to talk about those in a little bit more detail. What have we done? The size of some of the leaflets that we have in the market now are absolutely enormous. As you can see here, one example that we have in our current portfolio is a leaflet that measures 1 metre by over half a metre. Where I live, that's probably bigger than the local newspaper, and it's probably more interesting. So we live in an increasingly complex world. More products, more markets, greater pressure on costs, a requirement for more robust components, but for simpler handling and for reliable sources. Packaging technology can provide the right product. So we see a progression in leaflet technology from the simple, flat leaflets that you see at the bottom of the arrow here up to more complex products and beyond. So products that can be offered to help you deliver the increased information that regulators and your patients required include multiply reel-fed leaflets, closed sealed leaflets like outserts and tagserts that allow you to have enormous open sizes folded down into very compact, very robust, very reliable products. And then if needs be, if you're lucky enough to have a product that requires maybe a 4, 5, 10 market variant, we can stack those different leaflets together again into a single component that you can supply to your customer for insertion into their finished pack. The advantage of all these changes and all this adversity that pharma companies face is that these sealed products can actually improve efficiency online. They can help reduce setup time, they can reduce capital investment by eliminating the need for folding equipment, line speeds can be improved, line utilization can be improved. These products are compact and can also be applied to primary packaging. They are proven products and they allow you to deliver a huge amount of information in one simple component. Similarly, in labels, we see a movement from traditional single-ply labels into multiply and multi-format leaflets. So this label has a leaflet with an overlaminate that allows you to deliver a leaflet and a label in one single component, and similarly for vials. So again, by combining components, you're able to offer reduced administration, eliminate the need for separate leaflet handling. These sort of labels, these sort of components can be applied with conventional applicators and help improve line utilization. They're also very compact and can be reusable. They can also be combined into other components. So here you see a very substantial outsert leaflet combined with a carton into a single product. This eliminates one component from your supply chain, reduces administration, but also helps improve line efficiency. Chesapeake has supplied nearly 750 million of these components into Europe and into the US markets. By making sure that you have the right component, you minimize the risk in your supply chain. You have to make sure that that component is fit for purpose. That includes being compact so that it works reliably on packaging lines, but that it also provides the ability to deliver extended content so that you can meet the increasing information needs of regulators and of local markets. And they also minimize the risk in your processes. They eliminate unnecessary process steps, they eliminate administration, they eliminate transactions. That reduces risk in the supply chain. So, having found the right component, how do you make sure that you get it when you want it? As I touched on earlier, manufacturing and supply is about competing supply chains. however great your supply chain is, it has to be robust and reliable. Risks in supply are significant. Threats to supply chain feature in the top 10 risks of most companies. You can see here the impact of the flood in Thailand in 2011 on Sony's business. For a lot of companies, that sort of impact would be devastating. So there are three key elements to a supply chain for that supply chain to be successful. It needs to be robust, so it needs to be able to respond to uncertain events in the future. It needs to be reliable, so it needs to be able to respond when parts of that system fail. And it needs to be resilient, so it needs to be able to resist disruption and to be able to recover at speed. So, an uncertain future. So what does a robust supply chain look like? In our view, scale is important. Scale is important because it provides global reach, not only in terms of our footprint, but also in terms of our supply chains. The broader the reach we have, the more options we have available if we see disruption in the supply of our raw materials. We need to be able to offer a breadth of technology options so that we can respond as flexibly as possible, and we need to be able to support business and process improvement so that our business is more effective and is more efficient moving forward. Stability is also critical. We believe that it's important to be financially secure, and also that we're committed to certain market sectors so that we focus and understand on the needs of that market sector. And we also firmly believe that it's important to have ethical and sustainable ways of working. The slide here shows the core values of Chesapeake, what we refer to as the Chesapeake Way. And those values are important in making sure that our business has a solid basis for the future and that we're transparent in the way that we do business. Reliability was the next of the three key factors. And we work very hard to make sure that we have contingencies available across our network and that we understand where those contingencies would apply and what is the most appropriate contingency. So we put a lot of effort into mapping our network and understanding where those options lie, and also testing them to make sure that they're proven and reliable. And the last of the three critical factors, resilient. Are you resilient? I looked up as you can see here, the definition of the word resilient, and there are two definitions that caught my eye. The first one there is marked by the ability to recover readily from any misfortune and capable of returning to an original shape or an original position. In Cranfield Management School say that organisations that bounce back design resilient systems and they conduct scenario planning. If you remember from the previous slide, we looked at contingency mapping, and that's the sort of technique that allows you to ensure that you are prepared, that you can anticipate for as many disruptions as possible. The organisation will also enhance its internal and external linkages. Again, global coverage helps in having as many external contacts as possible within our supply base to make sure that we are as well protected as possible in the event of disruption. And strategies and structures that make sure that you can respond to that disruption. So in summary, if you're going to assure your paper packaging supply, you need to ensure that you have the right components. When you've selected those components, you need to make sure that that supply is robust, that your suppliers have scale, have stability, and have an ethical and a sustainable business model, that there is reliable supply with proven and multiple contingencies if possible, and resilient supply. There's a word that's used by a very popular Premier League football manager in the UK, a guy called Ian Holloway, and it is bounce back ability. So if you'd have learned nothing else today, then hopefully I've given you a new English word. And finally, if you've done all that to assure your supply, you also maybe want to consider what your paper packaging suppliers can do to make sure that your end users and patients are assured that the product that they've received from you is genuine and is not counterfeit. And as you'll see here, we have a number of options available that can help you with anti-counterfeiting and ensuring that fake products are not supplied. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. I'm glad there were more of you at the end than there was at the beginning. Thank you.